Welcome everyone to the B League Pick'em Show. I'm your host Dan at the B League Says. For GoingFor2 Live, we're going to talk about Monday night pick'em props by Underdog Fantasy promo code GF2 for 100% match deposit up to 250 big ones on your initial outlay. You suckers for betting. If we're here, you're a degenerate. If you're watching my show on a Sunday for a Monday game, you are an absolute degenerate, and I love you. But we're going to talk about a pick and prop show for Week 11. We're talking Monday Night Football. We're talking about the Texans and the winner of the Who Cares Cup, the Dallas Cowboys, because who cares about them at this point? They are just terrible. They are fantastic. So they are a train wreck that I just will watch over and over again because, it's like, you put one bad foot in front of the other and you're like, don't do that. And you're like, oh, do it again. Just make the next bad step. And then they do it again. It's fantastic. They are so bad right now. People are talking about, oh, you should have put the curtains over them. Just put curtains over the whole team. All right, they're curtains, all right? You're talking about curtains. Oh, they can't see. No, the whole team just needs curtains. They are atrocious. Off to Carbo. Fuck off with the lot of you. It's fantastic. I love it. Either way, we're going to talk about the Houston Texans at the Dallas Cowboys. It's a bit of a local derby, except no one cares. It's, oh my God, this should be a rivalry. No, this is like you watch the Premier League. It's like Man United versus Man City, Liverpool versus Everton, Southampton, Portsmouth. You look at Scotland, Rangers versus Celtic. They're close to each other. That should be like the big heated rivalry. No, it's not. It's just like a nothing game. It's just wild. But anyway, talking about nothing games, the Dallas Cowboys are a nothing team. So we're just going to kick on into our 3 picks for the week, and we're going to get on from there. Enough waffling. We're going to talk about pick number 1. I spoke about him last week going lower. He didn't end up playing, but we're going to talk about this week going the opposite direction. We're going to talk about Nico Collins going higher than 60.5 receiving yards. Look, if you watched last week's show again, early in the week, I told you stay away from him coming off the IR. The beautiful thing about him coming off IR is he gets a longer week to recover, even more time with the Monday night game. So, we're talking about him on Sunday last week. Maybe not. Even during the week, he was delayed with his training of practice reports. We get a whole 10 days. He's good to go. Let's wheels up with Nico Collins this week. And that's fantastic. And I feel comfortable with him regardless of the matchup. Look, we get another 10-yard buffer. So last week he was at 71.5. He's down to 60.5. So we're getting an even bigger buffer here up our sleeve for Nico Collins this week, which is fantastic. So they're giving us the injuries discount. I'm going to take that pretty quickly. Look, the Texans, that was shocking versus the Lions. And even if they slap the hapless Cowboys about it, could be very much a get-right week for them. And they're going to need him to get right quickly with Stroud because they haven't looked very good for a while now. They've looked a little shaky. So I could feel, even though the Cowboys, they got beaten up by the Eagles, and the Eagles said, no, we're not playing anymore. We're going back to Philly with a win at 3/4 time. Houston might need to actually stay out there and get these reps into their players because, you lose Collins, you lose Diggs. Mixon was injured earlier in the year. They've been all over the place. The O-line kind of sucks. It's a good text for them to kind of get themselves right. And I feel like that's what it is. And, we could get Nico Collins to this marker of 60.5 by, half time. And Dallas, look, they kind of blow as well. So they're middle of pack of yards against conceded to the receivers. This game could go sideways, to where teams just run the game out on. And I understand that. That's the risk with that. It could be a big Joe Mixon game. We're going to talk about him in a little bit too. But, at this point, I feel like Nico Collins could get to where we need him to get to by half time, and then they might just, load manage him. Stupid. Either way, pick number 2, we're going to talk about Rico Dowdle. We're going to go lower than 50.5 rushing yards. Look, pardon me. I feel bad for him and for this matchup because the truth is he punched 53 and 75 in his last 2 matchups. And he's doing that off minimal attempts. Like he's doing it off like 10, 12 rush attempts. Like he's good. Like he's a good player. And I feel bad that I would go lower on this because this is something that really he should find as a smash spot. Look, he's had over 12 attempts one time this year. And the concern I have is, that the Texans could put this game to bed real quickly. So look, the Cowboys, they could change quarterback. That's a problem that we have here and how the game is played altogether. If they move, rush for Lance again, maybe, Trey Lance takes rushing attempts from you. That's something that's a concern of mine going into this game. So, look, I want to take the lowers on all Cowboy options this week, including this one. Look, the only way he has a chance is if Cooper Rush goes off right away and buys him some more time. I just can't see that happening. So, look, the Texans, for what it's worth, they've done pretty good on the ground. Look, amongst teams who have not had their bye week, there are only 2 teams this year so far who have given less on the ground in Baltimore and Denver. So they're in great company. So some great rushing defenses there around, allowing less than 85 yards per game to the position per week. I am terrified of what Dallas is going to cough up. I can't trust that they're going to actually do the honors for us in this. Pick number 3, I mentioned him earlier. We're going to talk about Joe Mixon. Look, we're going to go higher than 84.5 rush yards and higher than half a rushing receiving touchdown when that prop comes about. I feel pretty good about taking that. Look, I feel better about the latter, and let me tell you, look, if a booster comes for 1.5 touchdowns, I'm probably taking it for Joe Mixon at this point. You know, if that's available, I'm heavily considering it. So Dallas giving up 10 rushing touchdowns alone this year. It could be in for a bit of a belter out Mixon, who, 8 for the year himself, and he's had a score in 5 straight, along with a couple multi-touchdown games to his name. So, like, Mixon's been on fire this year. He's been a revelation. Like, talk about the revelation of running back this year: Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Aaron Jones, Joe Mixon. The class of 2017, we can call it. Not 2017, 2001. Barkley wasn't playing in 2017, but whatever. You guys know what I mean. These running backs that I've been mentioning, they were like on fire 3-4 years ago, and here they are doing it again and again and again. Last week was a tough matchup versus Detroit. There's an elite run defense of Mixon. How the game played out was taken out of the game pretty quickly, I think. But he still managed to put up 100 rushing yards in his last 4 games straight. Dallas is middle of the pack, coughing up about 110 yards per game on the ground to the position. So it's a tougher matchup to get to 85. Anything higher than 90, I think I'm out on. But I feel pretty good about him getting there regardless. But that's it for me this week. We're going to talk about Monday Night Football. Wrap this up for Underdog Fantasy. Promo code GF2 for 100% matching deposit up to 250 big ones on your initial outlay. We're going for 2 live. Come find us in our free Discord. Just join us. It's pretty easy to find, not easy. It's very easy to come find us and ask questions and go on from there, as it were. So we're going to talk about this, wrap this up. Pick and props show. My voice is starting to go on. We've been a little bit sick this week, but we're going to kick on anyway. Pick number 1, Nico Collins, higher than 60 and a half receiving yards. Pick number 2, it's going to be Rico Dowdle, lower than 50 and a half rushing yards. And pick number 3, Joe Mixon, higher than 84 and a half rushing yards, and then higher than half a rushing and receiving touchdown for me this week. I am Dan at the B League says, safe bets, happy punch.